We've all been there with that feeling that we're just walking around life, going through the motions with no real meaning or purpose. And these days, it's so much more common. As we mature, purpose becomes a much bigger factor in our mental health. But I see so many people in my life struggling with feeling lost and not having the joy that comes from living a life with passion and purpose. You could just see it in their eyes. You can feel it when you're around them. They're just missing that sort of spark that some other people seem to have. You know, those people who just show up a little more vibrant than others, a little more happier, a little more full of energy. Well, when you create purpose in your life, you show up differently. You give off a sense of drive and enthusiasm, and you just tend to enjoy life more no matter what happens. As our lives become more meaningless, we're more inclined to fill our voids with cheap pleasures and unhealthy habits. But as our lives become more purposeful, we fill those voids with things that truly align with us, things that bring real, lasting pleasure, things that will typically add to our value throughout our entire life. Living a life full of purpose is one of the single most powerful things you could do for increasing your energy, life satisfaction, health, and well-being. Having purpose is even linked to the amount of money you may end up making in life. This idea of purpose that I really like comes from the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, and it says there are actually two forms of purpose. There's purpose for the self, and there's purpose that comes from using your skills to serve others. Your first purpose is your present. This means that life is such a short and precious gift. Therefore, your first purpose is to make the most out of your present. That no matter what you're going through, you don't just let life pass you by. To truly love and enjoy life, to get out there and gain experience, to work through your issues and grow as an individual, to make the most out of each day and not let obstacles stand in the way of what you want to become. To appreciate what a blessing it is to even have each day. Life is like a simulation for eternal growth, a place where we're dropped off as physical beings, forgetting almost everything of our soul's awareness so that we can work out our deeper issues through situations and circumstance, relationships with your parents, friends, or significant others. Life will create just what we need around us to facilitate this growth so that we can heal, so that we can grow and reach our life's purpose. Your second purpose is the thing that you were put on this earth to do. Purpose is found in being of service to something that you value more than yourself, something that you find worth sacrificing for. When you find meaning in what you're sacrificing for, your suffering is greatly reduced. And when you find meaning in life, living becomes much more of a pleasant experience. Some know it from early on in their lives, and others don't find that purpose until later. And for some, purpose can even change throughout life. So there's no right or wrong way to go about this. And your purpose could be perceivably large or small. It doesn't really matter. You could share it with others or just do it quietly all to yourself. All that really matters is that you see your purpose. But life lately hasn't exactly been set up in the best way for people to spend enough time with themselves to really find themselves. So that brings me right to my next point of what is actually keeping us from finding purpose. A sense of purpose can't be given to you. It has to come completely from within. Purpose for each of us is highly subjective, so we have to find a way to be able to listen to our inner self, to be able to hear our internal signals and act on those, not on what other people are doing, not on what our friends are doing, not what social media falsely glamorizes, not what our parents think we should do, what our inner voice needs us to do. And externalized attention is kind of the problem that we face today. Life has changed in so many ways that people are not spending as much time looking deep inside of ourselves. So we don't really know what to think. And when we don't really know what to think, we struggle to find purpose and meaning in life. We spend time scrolling, keeping our minds busy, instead of spending our downtime really thinking about ourselves. We're spending more time thinking about other people's lives than we are thinking about our own. We spend more time looking at what appears to make other people happy, then we try to duplicate that, hoping it will also make us happy, without even knowing if behind the scenes, if they're even really happy at all. A big reason for unhappiness in life today is because of this overconsumption of other people's lives. We end up wanting things that other people have, but when we get it, we find that it doesn't truly satisfy us. And that's because we need to be paying more attention to ourselves and not other people. And when we keep hitting dead ends from approaching our search for fulfillment this way, we start to feel lost. Technology suppresses our internal signals. And now more than ever, it's become so easy to be distracted and to drown out our internal signals. Whether you're filling all your free time playing video games or watching TV or scrolling on social media, what's happening is that technology is creating people that are not as self-aware as they need to be to create real purpose in their lives. When I'm on my right path, being disciplined and doing what I need to do, my life feels aligned and I love it. But there's come a few times when I let unfortunate circumstances throw me off track and into a bad state of mind. I would fall back into habits of not eating right or spending too much time playing video games, not exercising my body or mind as much as I need to be, spending too much time looking for relationships or hookups, and in the end, not finding any true, lasting, deep satisfaction. And it might be fun for a small bit of time, but then for me, it begins to feel uncomfortable. I feel a pull to get off that path. I feel a voice telling me that I'm not doing what I should be doing. Now what do? Do we listen to that voice, or do we drown it out a little bit more until it disappears completely? That's a question that a lot of us end up being faced with. When you're taking steps in the right direction for your life and you're overcoming the obstacles that your life's work to overcome, you can feel it. And when you're letting yourself become stagnant or on the wrong path, it starts to feel uncomfortable. And that feeling of being uncomfortable is what's trying to get us to change. But the feeling of being on the right path with a purpose is like nothing else. So how do we begin to find or create purpose in our lives? Firstly, let's just start with that. The first step to discovery is asking the question. So if you're asking yourself this, congratulations, you're already on the right path. And now that you understand what keeps us from finding purpose and have learned how we can better listen to ourselves, what else can we do to find our purpose? One way of finding purpose is by looking at these three areas: what you're passionate about, what you're compassionate about, or what you're naturally good at. If there are things you're passionate about, see how you can use that to help other people, and continue to grow your skill until you achieve enough expertise in what you're passionate about to start to provide more value for others. If you're having trouble figuring out what you're passionate about, that's okay, because sometimes people find their passion through compassion. Are there painful situations that you've encountered that led you to find compassion for others? Are there parts of the world that you think could be improved? Or maybe you have compassion for some type of injustice that people face. If you know what you have compassion for, think about how you might be able to provide value there. And think about what you can do to improve your skill so that you can provide more and more value for other people. If you're having trouble figuring out both of those areas, then your last step is to take a look at what you're already naturally good at. How can you use those skills more purposefully? How can you use those skills to help other people? All three of these areas, passion, compassion, and natural skill, are great entry points for creating or finding more purpose in our life. When you make a difference in the lives of others, no matter how big or small that difference may seem, the satisfaction that you experience in life will greatly improve. At the end of the day, what's really important is that we open up our curiosity in order to find things that truly fascinate us. And in order to feed that curiosity, we have to get out and try new things. If you're always busy or always preoccupied with technology or indulging in cheap pleasures like drinking and partying every weekend or filling your free time with constantly dating, you're gonna have trouble finding and doing the work that's needed to create that real purpose in your life. Seek out new experiences where you can try out new hobbies, where you can dive into things that interest you. Try to diversify those experiences so that you can see what the world has to offer. You never really know what you're going to become good at until you actually like get out there and try new things, until you put in some effort to pick up a new hobby and work to get past the growing pains. And then as you are building these experiences, you need to take the time to reflect on those experiences. This reflection part is very important. How are the things you're choosing to do bringing a lasting positive meaning into your life? Ask yourself, are the things that I'm choosing to do now really in line with where I want my future to be? And if not, maybe you want to take more time for yourself to start figuring these things out. Reach out and talk to people that you trust and love. Discuss your passions and goals with them. You don't always have to follow other people's suggestions, but talking about these things out loud can bring new perspectives and energize you into action. Discussing these things out loud can also help calm any fears that you might be having that are holding you back from starting to develop that passion. So all in all, the ideal zone for discovering purpose includes looking deeply at developing our passion, compassion, or skills, and from exploring and taking inputs from our life engagement, self-reflection, and social feedback. If you start taking a look at all those things, you're going to be well on your way to creating more purpose in your life. But finding purpose is actually a lifelong journey. It's being on that journey that provides all the great benefits for our lives and the lives of others. Your purpose could be something tangible that you create and share with others, or maybe it's just a mission statement, simply the way you show up in the world in your day-to-day life, and in doing so, you bring value to other people. Now that you have some of the building blocks to discover and create something more meaningful and purposeful in your life, I really hope that it serves you well to find something you truly enjoy so that you can get the most out of life and share that joy with others. Thank you for your time. I hope you found some value in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.